Hi, I'm Candace, and this is Fitness and Harmonies, Pilates as medicine. So let's take a half a cup, or maybe a full cup of Pilates today, but I want to lean heavily, as I said, into the yoga, into the focusing on the movement and how the mind is in the movement. So the muscles have gotten impressions on them from the things that we've been doing, maybe from the way that we're just shaped. So let's start out sitting up tall. So find your seat, that is whatever you're sitting on. If you can find those bones, dig those bones into the floor, let the knees fall open, and then start with a nice inhale. Stretch the arms up overhead. And then as you exhale, elongate and tip over to one side. Bring one hand to the floor, and then really reach this top arm up and over. Now at the same time, pull that opposite hip down. Inhale and exhale. And then inhale as you come up, reach up tall. Exhale as you begin to lean over. So as you're leaning over, this other hip goes down. One hand to the floor. This top arm up over. Keep focusing on the muscles. So what muscles would bring this opposite hip down? We're going to do stability exercises that are going to move the abdominals and the hips together in synchronicity, so that there's this wave going through the body, a rhythmic flow. Inhale, come up. As you exhale, bring the arms back and behind, so palms facing out like big wings. Stretch back. Let's do that again. Inhale, up. As you exhale, bring the arms down, back, and behind. Let the wings let them dry out for a moment. So spread the fingers out. Circle the wrists around. Then bring the fingers to the floor. So lean a little bit back. Push down. Now when your hands touch the floor, push down and make the opposing energy rise forward. So now begin to squeeze around the low back, that lumbar, sacral lumbar, right about at the waist of the pants, the waist of our pants. Fashion has gotten it to go up higher and higher and higher again, so that if the waist of your pants are up around your shoulder blades, I don't mean there, I mean down where the rim of the pelvis is, if you could feel that. In the gym, I see the girls now, they have these pants that go all the way up now. 2 breaths here. Let the breath go all the way in. And then come up. Let's stretch the legs out in front. All we'll do is shake the legs out. Let's give those legs a shake. So shimmy, 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 shake, shake, shake the legs. Now just practice. I'm going to use these blocks. If you have blocks, you may or may not need them. It depends on the length of your arms in relation to your torso. Press into the floor or the blocks, whatever you've got there. Then from here, so almost like you're lifting up. I don't want you to necessarily lift up, but I want you to press down to alleviate the tension, the pressure on the spine. Once you've got that and the shoulders rolled back, elbows in, point and flex the feet. Point and flex the feet. So you have to really contract the top of the thigh bones. Lower your eyelids down. Let's start here. Inhale through the nose. When you exhale, exhale through your mouth, but grow taller. So inhale through your nose. Exhale. So when you're exhaling, you're pushing down with your hands and your spine is going up higher and higher and higher. Inhale. Exhale, grow up taller, taller, taller. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. So then open your eyes, flex your feet back. Continue breathing. You just don't have to keep moving. So what our goal is to have all the breaths go down into deep layers of tissue to re-educate them to go with the flow and the rhythm, a natural organic state where every part of your body has all that it needs. So when we have stress in our body, the chemicals of stress get in the way of the healing of the cells of the body. It's really actually kind of simple. Figuring out how to make it stop is what's hard. From here, we're going to bend one knee, bring the foot to the floor. So you may have to reconnoiter your hips because I don't want you to then rock and fall backward. So make sure that you reconnoiter, that you move your leg, even if you have to move it out of the way of any tissue that's here, so that you be still on the top of your sits bones. Use your hands to hold on to the shin and pull the shin. Now, as you're using the pressure of pulling the shin, pull the shoulders down. Good. All right, let's do some of that deep breathing. By deep, I mean not just the lungs. I don't want you to think necessarily of anatomy. I want you to think about layers of muscle and organ and connective tissue and even blood. So inhale, go all the way down to the cellular level, the red blood cells. Fill them all up. Exhale, grow taller. So every time you exhale, you're creating a space above your head. Imagine that there's like a light bulb there. And what you're trying to do is generate energy to get that light bulb to go on. So there's this connection that we have with something better, something beautiful, something in yoga we would say sukha. 2 more. Then we'll go to the other leg. So one leg out, figure out how you do this. How do you get your foot on the floor? It may stay way out. You may have to hold on to the back of the leg, so be true. Aim true to who's met you here on the mat today. Once you get there though, shoulders down and back, that's always true. Inhale, exhale. Remember, as you're pulling with your arms, you're shooting that energy up the spine. So we can find ease, we can find the beauty. Again, in yoga, we use the word sukha. It means sweet or beautiful or good. It's the good stuff in the world. Sukha is like sugar. It's the sugar. 2 more times. Your goal here is to exhale energy up and light up the light that connects you. Last one, keep pulling the shoulder blades down the back. Then from here, you can either bring the soles of the feet together, or if you have a block, I probably should have told you to go round up your block. Go round up your block. Put the block on its smallest setting between your feet. Again, I'm going to hold on to my ankles to keep me from tipping and falling backward. And then with your feet, squeeze. So, okay, your feet could be touching. That's one option. Or you could have a block or a book. There's another option. Squeeze. Or even a pillow. A small pillow would work. Squeeze, squeeze. Notice how weak your legs feel. Like, am I squeezing? It's hard to even tell. Well, these are inner thigh, inner hamstring muscles. These are the very muscles that connect us to our core. So this is a really good energy building and stress relieving. So I had said that one of the ways we get rid of stress is by creating physical stress on the body and then changing our mental pattern. So noticing the senses. 2 slow breaths here. Squeeze. Those heels are like drilling, drilling, drilling. Last one. Squeeze. And then release. Let's come into hands and knees pose and then we'll begin. Flowing. So let's make a little flow here. Move into cat, C-A-T, cat. Move into cow. Swing side to side. That's always what I do. Swing side to side. So I guess this would be like a happy cow. You know, a cow. Just swinging the tail here. Come to center. Brace the abdominals. Flatten the spine. Turn the toes. Lift off. Press back to downward dog. From there, look forward. Hinge forward by bracing the abdominals and floating this stick. And then lowering all the way down. Now how you come down, as long as you do it safely, that's the number one thing. But how you come down and how quickly or slowly, that's up to you. Point the toes, bring those heels and legs together. Now just squeeze the heels and the legs together, squeeze. All right, so P.S., these are the same muscles we were just working with, that like squeezing butterfly action. Splay the chest open. Pull the shoulder blades down the back and then lift the heart up a little. So legs squeezing together. Maybe they're levitating a little. We're trying to find the inner hamstring muscles, the inner hamstring muscles. 2 breaths. Remember, we're shooting energy up the spine. We're trying to get into the deep musculature that has had the impressions of stress. Release the legs, push back to child's pose. Give that 3. Now we're sort of blowing out through the mouth. You don't have to make a sound. You don't have to blow out the candles necessarily. But I do want you to exhale your stress away. 1 more. So the whole time you're speaking kind of to your highest self. That light bulb above your head. Come up into cat. Flow into cow. Notice the difference. Sway side to side. I guess we'll call this happy cow. So I'm sort of like in a spiraling serpentine motion. I'm kind of swaying and twisting a little and turning and feeling all around the sides. Now it takes smart abdominal muscles to do. Like if you say, I want to move my hip, then I want to move my, it takes smart abdominal connected muscles to do that. Come to center, brace the abdominals, so cinch up the high waist, turn the toes under and lift off. Press back. Speak to the back of the legs. Let them shine. Shine. Get more involved in what you're doing and what you're feeling. Look forward, hinge forward, brace your abdominals so you have this like plate of steel. You know, you're making this strong, really thick body. Lower down. Challenge yourself to not flop, to not, just break. Once you do though, come all the way down, spin the legs out. You got to get the thighs, kind of the muscle of the thigh has to turn to the outside. Press the heels together. Now squeeze the back of the inner thighs. Inner thighs. Squeeze the back of the inner thighs. Now pull the shoulders onto the back. Pull these wings back. Let the heart, its wings open up to the front. All right, so inner thighs, squeeze them, squeeze them, squeeze them. Now squeeze the abdominals. Feel layers and layers of muscles become more involved in whatever it is you're trying to do. Sometimes they don't pay attention the first time, so you have another command. Squeeze the inner thighs. Kind of release down. Push back into child's pose. 3. Blow out through the mouth. Like you're blowing away. You're starting this wind, this great wind. Come up into cat. Give that a breath. So fully inflate. Imagine your entire body's a lung. Cow. Kind of with gratitude. Like I'm glad my body is doing what it's doing. I'm feeling some great things. Sway the cow. Kind of swing. I'm sort of moving my shoulders and hips. So whatever it is your mind is telling your body to do, that's what you should be doing. And what I mean by that is if I'm thinking I'm moving my shoulder, then I am moving my shoulder. If I'm thinking I'm leading with my hip, then I am leading with the hip. So let the mind create a command. And then actualize, so there's a good word for you, actualize. Notice what's actually happening, right? Come to center, embrace, cinch up the abdominals, turn the toes, lift off and float back. Press more into the front of your hand than the back of your hand. Pull the belly in. I'm not going to say round your back, nor am I going to say extend your back, but notice the difference. Look forward, float forward, brace. Notice that as you come down into, we'll call this high plank, your arms lock into the shoulder. Lower down slowly. Keep that locking. That's important. Don't let the arm-shoulder joint, I guess we call that the shoulder, unlock. Like those tent poles, turn the legs out, squeeze the heels in, and the elbows, that works too. But really focus on the inner thigh, squeeze. Let's hold this one a little bit longer. I want you to think more about the lower body. We don't think about the lower body. One reason is it's far away. It's far away. It's not where like the important business is happening. The eyes and the hands do, and the mouth do most of the stuff we have to think about. But the lower body has to get us there safely in a balanced way. Release down. Exhale back to child's pose. I'm going to give this one more go after 2 breaths. Let's see if we remember. So we just trained the muscle. So let's see how it does. Cat pose. Cow pose. Feel the spinning, like the muscles and at the joint. Now that swaying cow. What's different this time? It should feel different every time. Maybe you found something new. Maybe the shoulders want to do a little bicycle. Maybe the low back wants to feel something. So push into your edge. That's when you feel like I can't do this anymore. Come to center, brace the abdominals, turn the toes, lift off, press back. Light up. Light up the world behind you, right? Let your legs be like 2 of those old fluorescent bulbs. Look forward, float forward, plank, high, high, high plank. Feel what muscle. So this is a really good exercise because your muscle has to become involved here. Slowly lower down. Once your body kind of touches down, notice the release. So notice that. There's a difference between holding and letting go. Spin the legs open or turn open. Press the heels and the back of the inner thighs together. Then lift the chest up. If you didn't do that last time, that's okay. That's okay. I wanted you to focus on what it is you are doing. So you may be involved in one thing and I'm saying something else. That's fine. Hold this inner thigh squeeze. Yes, glutes are going to be involved here. Give that a good squeeze. Release. Push back to child's pose. This time though, kind of come to your elbows and walk your knees open. Keep your toes together, then push your hips back. So let's give those inner thighs and the low back a moment. I am relaxed. I am safe. I am here now. If you've ever heard meditations, there's a lot of here now. And the reason is when we bring our mind into what we think of as consciousness, you're paying attention to, well, here I am. Like when you're asleep, you're not conscious, right? You're not here now. You're in some dream or something. But then when you wake up, I am here now. And it forces your mind to put down the trauma and the drama and the impressions that the body has suffered because of that trauma and drama. I am here now forces your mind to wake up to the reality that your senses are actually experiencing, not the story you tell about that. One more breath. Let's come back up. We're going to step 1 foot forward. So I'm going to grab my blocks so that to come into low lunge, say your right leg, if that's possible. Because sometimes I think you get confused on which leg is forward, which one is back. So let's say right leg is forward for this. Pause there. I want you to think about the deepest muscle, and that is the iliopsoas. It starts around the inner thigh of what we'll call the left back leg. And it threads almost, right to the groin. Let's think the inner groin. Then it threads almost like straight through your hip, from front to back, put it that way. But then attaches at the top rim of the pelvis and actually up into almost your mid-back. So it really goes up high. So why would there be this string that goes from your inner thigh to really kind of your adrenal glands into your kidneys up back there? Regardless of why it's there, notice that it is there. And so it must be a pretty important muscle, especially when we're stressed, especially when we need to run or fight. So stretch that length of the muscle. Now push into this front foot, then rise up. So kind of lift the curtain, lift the moon, lift the side. This is the moon. Lift the moon up and back. Throw that moon up and back behind you. So it was a full moon last night. So big, big, big moon that you're holding and you're draping it back behind you. Well, now that it's behind you, it's heavy, right? So it's maybe pulling you down a little bit. You can tell I taught 2-year-olds for a very long time. I had to keep with the story. Got to keep the storyline going. Come up and then lean over to your right. Okay, that would be the same as the front leg. So now that weight of the moon, I guess now it's a crescent moon, is falling over. 3. Feel the muscle, like go in deep. We did this in the very beginning and I wanted you to find that hip and hold the hip down. 2. With grace, here we go. Come up. Now brace your abdominals. Exhale like you're gonna throw something down into the floor. Inhale and rise up. Exhale, take that thing and throw it. Now as you're throwing it, squeeze your abdominals. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, squeeze, pull the navel into the spine. 2 more times. Inhale. Stay forward though, don't lean back. Exhale, scoop, scoop, scoop the lower belly in and up. Last time, inhale. Squeeze as you throw down. Step back into hands and knees. Press back into downward dog. Feel the movement. So not just when we're doing sort of an exercise, feel the movement in the holding. Use all of your senses. So the mat has some texture and feel, and the air around you has some texture and feel. And there are sounds in your home or wherever you are right now. 2, blow out, blow out, blow out. Come back down. Let's step the left foot forward or whatever and come to another low lunge. So when you first get there, you get out that little protractor and you go 90 degrees on the front knee, 180 degrees from front knee to back knee. Oops. I better step this back knee a little bit further back and try to get these hips a little bit further down, right? So instead of having your hips up, see if you can get them down. If you can't, you can't. So you do the little protractor number, and then you feel. So now from the surface, go in. Layer 1 is skin and fascia. Layer 2 is kind of the superficial muscles. At least layer 3 where there's the deeper muscles. We have many, many layers. Then picture the iliopsoas, right, from the inner thigh, threads kind of to the groin, then goes straight through the bucket of the pelvis, threads up the back of the pelvis, and then up into the low back. So it's one long kind of like scooping muscle. But right now we're unscooping it. Try to lengthen it. Keep your breath organically flowing. In Pilates method, there's a flow in the movement, and each movement is informing the next movement, how to be more precise. It's like a ballet dancer. But I want you to add that concept to your breath. Okay, push into this front foot. Make sure all 4 wheels are on the floor. Come all the way up. Stay forward though. Take the moon in your hands and extend back. Now squeeze the mid back, right where there would be like a bra strap. Squeeze that area and then push the back of the heart forward. To take the flesh of the shoulders and let it fall like it's dripping down your back. Come up, then lean over to your left. All right, so you're just leaning the upper body. If you leaned your whole body, you just fell. That's okay. You just get up and try again. Find that same stretch. Remember, this is the first stretch we did when I was saying keep one hip on the floor. Got a little IT band, tensor fasciae latae going on here. Come up. Here we go. When you exhale, throw the arms and the shoulders and the chest down, but scoop the belly in. So it's inhale, stretch the belly. Exhale, pull the strings of the belly to the center. Inhale. So every repetition is causing your core to get stronger so that your middle, your center, your midline becomes your support system. That's no small thing. 2 more times. 1 more. Make sure the abdominals are, I'm going to use the word crunch. Come down. Step back to hands and knees. Move into downward dog. It's going to take me a while to catch up with you. So go ahead. I'll get caught up when I get caught up. I'm going to suggest walking your feet 2 inches forward and 2 inches outward. And then bending and straightening both knees. All right, you kind of figure out where you are here. I'm going to take these hips and I'm going to move them all around like a multi-dimensional Ferris wheel. So a Ferris wheel would go around and around, forward and back. But imagine it's one of these carnival rides that goes all up and around. So almost all of your body weight's on your feet. Feel free to grab blocks if that makes it easier for you to get most of your body weight on the feet. This in yoga would be called like a bear pose. Bears run on their 4 feet there, but they can walk on 2 feet sometimes. So we're doing that, or mostly, I should say kangaroo, right? Kangaroos are on their back legs all the time. Then walk all the way forward. Let's sit down a bit, bring your hands to the knees a bit, and then twist the spine. So drop one shoulder like it's going to aim at the opposite knee, and then twist, revolve. So there's an axis from the top of your head to your tail. I want you to twist left and twist right, turning the rib cage around the axis. 3, you're blowing out through your mouth. You're noticing your habit of like holding the breath, and noticing your habit of worrying and making drama out of everything that happens. Come to center. Now, straighten your back, come halfway up like a chair pose, and then come all the way up. So I want you to get in the habit of using your knees, to like lift you up from that position. So anytime we come up, you're thinking knees. We're going to take one leg, stick it down into the floor, and then take the other leg and swing it forward and back. So in a moment, once you've got your balance, and if you have a chair and you want to hold on to your chair, do that. I want you to start kicking faster. Kick, kick. Now let the arms do the thing that the arms would do. Contra movement. And then go faster. Kick, kick, kick. Now I'm sort of hoping that you fall. I don't want you to get hurt. But I'm sort of hoping you're having to work a little hard here to keep your balance. Because I need to work my ankles to protect my foot. If you're noticing, I've got the tape here because I have lost fat in my heel. If you have to have an injury, it won't one you can brag about. Oh, I'm just so skinny. That is not the case. It just so happens that I don't have fat on the heel, and that hurts. So I have tape there to bring the skin from the side. 4, 3. So I have to make my foot smarter. And come down. There it is. Plug that leg down. Pull all the strings of the sides in. Button everything. Swing this other leg forward and back. So at first, just play around with the range of motion. What does forward mean? What does back mean? Then notice the elements of balance, the 4 wheels of the foot on the floor. Then scoop the belly in consciously, creating that connection. Then go a little faster, adding in these running arms. Run the arms. Shaking out the body, making it move kind of like quickly, and making the tissue, it changes how the body relieves the chemicals of stress, or the chemicals of life, or whatever you want to call it, because life is stress. So we're getting rid of that so that we can become more aware. I had said here now is what's important. So we're using our Pilates and our yoga as a medicine to get rid of. You know, a lot of times we'll take a medicine because it'll block the transmission of neurotransmitters and etc., so that we don't feel something that we don't want to feel, and so that something else can start happening. Go faster if you hadn't. I was talking. 4 breaths. 4, 3, 2, and put that foot down. There it is. Good work, everyone. Let's bring the hands to the heart. Lift the crown of the head up. Close your eyelids. Pause there. Put the big toe down, but lift the other 4 toes. Spread those 4 toes out, so as far away from the big toes as possible. Then put all 10, all sets of toes down. Now, I want you to breathe, but when you breathe, what we did before, when you breathe out, the belly goes in, and that energy rises up the spine. And like a big water fountain, it like sprays out the top of your head. And you're filling the space that's at the top of your head. That's not you, I guess, but it is kind of. So that it's bright and full of the energy. You're a generator. And every time you generate that light, that energy, that space above your head, you give up one thing that you were holding. Something that you thought was holding and supporting you, but actually was holding you down or holding you back. 3 more of those. Remember, you're still feeling the feet. That's where your ground is. You're feeling your middle. That's where you're going to lean into when times are tough and you need a support system and the people around you aren't necessarily there. And then you're filling the space above you, this highest self. Open your eyes. Inhale, circle up. Exhale, extend back. Inhale up, swan dive into forward fold. Step back into downward dog. Come down into hands and knees. Stretching my calf one more second there. All right, so we just did this running thing, so just kind of keep that in mind. That one leg was swinging and the arms were doing the opposite. It'll confuse you all over again, but just know that you just did this. You're okay. Extend the right leg back. Keep those other toes, those left ones tucked under. In fact, practice pushing the left toes down and lifting that left knee up off the floor and down. So just practice that. Can you lift the knee and down? Try it 3 or 4 times. Don't go up high. And above all, don't break the column of the spine. Let that be your rock. All right, leave that knee down now. Now the other knee, the right knee, pull it into the chest and stretch it back out. Do that a couple of times. And the point here is to hold the pelvis rock steady. So no avalanche, no timber, no crashing. Rock steady, steady and sweet. Now when your knee comes in, lift the other knee up. Drop the left knee down and stretch the right one back. Right in, left up, left down, right back. So this is like kind of like that running we just did when we were standing. But this is a lot harder because gravity is pushing on more of our body. So the deep abdominal muscles, the deep breathing muscles, and that deep iliopsoas muscle, and even the quadricep. You're probably feeling the quadricep, that's the leg muscle. 3, 2, and come to hands and knees. Let's come up into a camel. So tuck the toes under, bring the hands to the rim of the pelvis. Give that rim of the pelvis a push forward, forward, forward. Like, oh no, I'm gonna fall forward. Then open the chest out wider, wider, wider. Hold there. Let's give this about 4 of those I am here now breaths. with poise and grace and balance. Let the movement of breath penetrate into tissue that really needs the reduction of inflammation. There's a word for you, inflammation. Deflammation? I don't know. Inflammation? And we'll come back into hands and knees. Left leg. Same as the first. Second verse, same as the first. So make sure, for one, the left hip is down, but also your left toes are pointing down. They're not twisted out. If that leg wants to twist open. Toes looking down. You may have to look at them to check. Here we go. Turn the right toes under, lift the right knee up and down. Abs have to brace for this. If you find all kinds of wobbly and collapsy, crushing here, then maybe lifting this knee off. You just need more preparation. 2, here we go. So left knee comes in as the right knee comes up, right knee down, left leg back. So pull in as you lift up, push out as you let down. So same little running man here. Breathe out like you mean it. Breathe out like you've been working hard in this little series, and you need that breath. 3, 2, brace the lower abdominals, and 1. Come up into camel again, so rock back onto the knees, hands to the pelvis, push forward 1, push forward 2. Push forward 3, hold. So feel the tissue on the front of the thigh and the front of the hip. Feel it begin to slowly lengthen. Now open up the chest 1, sides go out 2, sides go back 3, hold. Don't lean back, don't lean the hips back. Keep the hips going forward. 2 more breaths. Exhale. Exhale. Take your time now. Move all the way down and onto the back. You should be feeling like, yes, yes, I will, thank you. If you have the strap or the band, anything, long and skinny and willing, wrap that on the foot, kick the leg up, and give it a pull. Now, if you have the strap, the benefit is you don't have to pull hard. Let your upper body relax down. So the strap will do the work. You're just giving it a little anchor point. All right. I want you to kind of close your eyes and go with me here. You don't have to breathe out through your mouth anymore. This is nothing but an organic breath that goes just for the nose, because the nose not only takes in air, it filters it so that if there's anything in the air, it hopefully gets a little filtered. It warms it because your lungs would like the air to be, pretty warm, not cold. But that takes longer than breathing through your mouth. So I want you to slowly elongate the exhale. We're going to sort of bicycle this leg. Bend it as you flex the foot, pull it in, straighten it up, kind of point the toe and push through. So my hands, because this is a strap, my arms are going with this bicycle. If I had the rubber band, I might not have to move my arms as much. Doesn't matter. What does matter is that we're bicycling the leg in a fluid and flowing pattern so that the hip, the knee, the ankle, those 3 joints, why they're working together. It's as natural as riding a bike, right? So this is a natural movement for our bodies to make. So I want you to breathe. This should be relatively simple. Breathe the muscles that are moving those 3 joints. Layer by layer. . So at this point, hold your knee in. So when you get to that point of it, pull. Just pull with the arms here, kind of give that a pull. And then release. Let's go on to the other leg. First leg straight up and take the stretch. This is where we slow down the exhale. What we're doing is learning to manage stress. Stress is a good thing when it's managed, just like anything, right? As long as we have some level of control, some level of knowing where boundaries are, it's a good thing. So we're learning to manage. So we exhale. But remember what you're gaining. Here we go. So open your eyes so you can bicycle this leg. Remember there's like a bend. Let's see, bicycle forward. You might just want to bicycle backward, and that's fine. But the point is that hip, the knee, and the ankle are all moving at some point in this revolution. And you're controlling it. So this leg is not wobbling in and out. The knee is not breaking and twisting each and every time. That's not a bad thing as long as you've decided that's what you want to do. So you're managing it, believe it or not, with your abdominals. But I want you to breathe the muscles of your legs. So imagine that there's like surface layer muscles and then deep layer muscles and then bone muscles. And you're breathing them into this fluid, stretchy, elastic, graceful flow. Really coordinated and balanced. Then bring the knee in, and using your hands now, give this a tug. You're trying to increase the range of motion of that hip. And then release. All right, take a little twist left and right. Hips turn, arms stretch. Deep breath into the hip and the low back and the side waist. Then go to the other side. Give this a twist. Hips and knees spin. Back to an easy pose. Roll around, find your seat, come to center. So it's almost like you're finding that center. Inhale and reach up. Exhale and stretch, and you're done. Fantastic job, everyone. I want to thank you with gratitude.